Let's start with the part people usually try to soften. If you are a short man, dating can be harder. Some people will reject you because of your height. Some will joke about it. On dating apps, there are women who will see 5'7" and move on before reading one sentence on your profile. You could be in shape, have a good job, know how to talk to people, and still lose to a guy who is taller before either of you say a word. I know because I am 5'7". I have been rejected over my height. I have been mocked for it. I have compared myself to taller men and wondered whether dating would have been easier if I had another 4 or 5 inches. Dating apps made that insecurity worse. A profile turns a person into a few pictures, a job, an age, and a height. When your height is below what somebody selected in a filter, none of the other parts of you even enter the conversation. So I'm not going to lie to shorter guys and say height never matters because size does matter. In the window joke. Research does show a general preference for the men to be taller. Sadly, it is what it is. The current average height for adult men in the US is just under 5'9". At 5'7", I am below that average. That is reality. Net takes that reality and stretches it into something ridiculous. It tells short men they're cooked, they're finished, finito. It tells them women will never respect them. Dating is pointless, and every rejection proves that biology has already decided their future. That part is garbage. I can't even lie to you. I have dated successfully at 5'7". I have dated women taller than me because I did not care. If we can stand eye to eye, talk, laugh, and actually enjoy each other, why am I supposed to panic because she's like, what, an inch or two taller than me? Why is that such a big deal? It took me time to understand this. Height can reduce some opportunities, especially online. Like, if you're not 6'1", 6'2", you're cooked. Even 6 foot. You're still kind of cooked because you're not 6'1". Okay, I'm stretching a little bit, but like if you're 5'11", congrats, you're cooked. Just off of that 1 inch, you're cooked. But this relates towards social media and dating apps. Obsessing over height can obviously ruin the opportunity you still have. And this is what this video is about. Women on average do tend to prefer taller men. Researchers call this the male taller norm. Such a normie name, by the way, no pun intended. Women often prefer a man taller than themselves, while men prefer a woman shorter than them. A 2025 study that included participants from Canada, Cuba, Norway, and the US found that the same general pattern. RT, guy says he feels disadvantaged, immediately telling him that height is all in his head is not helpful. It is not all in his head. A woman is allowed to have a height preference. You are also allowed to be frustrated when you keep running into it. What you cannot do is turn somebody else's preference into a final judgment on your value. I have had women make comments about my height. It did not feel good. I would look at taller men and think they had an automatic advantage. Sometimes they did. An advantage is not a guaranteed win. If y'all played video games, y'all know. A tall man can still be awkward. He can be dishonest, financially irresponsible, lazy, controlling, or terrible at maintaining a relationship. Height might get somebody through the first filter. It cannot carry a relationship once real life starts. Short men get into trouble when they confuse being physically preferred with being completely compatible. A woman choosing a taller profile on an app does not prove that every woman will reject you. It proves one person made one quick decision in an environment designed around quick decisions. That environment matters more than Gen Z men realize. Pew Research found that 53% of American adults under 30 have used a dating site or app. Among partner adults under 30, 20% said they met their current partner through a dating app, which apparently nowadays is a normal part of dating, especially for younger adults. They're also a terrible place to measure your total value as a man. On an app, people have almost no context. Zilt, no context whatsoever. They cannot see how you carry yourself in a room. They cannot hear how you talk to other people. They do not know whether you are funny, dependable, or comfortable with yourself. They see the easiest information first. Height becomes powerful because it is simple. 5'7" can be rejected in half a second. because I did the research, I counted my own experience. Duh. Character cannot be measured that quickly. That does not mean you have to delete every single dating app you come across. It means you should stop treating your match count like a full report on your attractiveness. If you get very few matches, improve your pictures, rewrite your profile, be honest about your height, try another platform, but also meet people in real life. When it comes to online dating, you are nothing but a stat on a stat sheet. In person, women can experience the full version of you. I noticed that difference myself. Dating apps made me feel overlooked. Real life gave me personality and confidence a chance to matter. I have dated taller women. The height difference did not end the world. Nobody called the police. We went out like normal people. The internet honestly makes it seem like every woman has a strict 6 foot requirement. Real life is more mixed than that and more nuanced. This is where the height argument gets more interesting. A 2013 study looked at actual couples instead of only asking people to describe an ideal partner. The researchers found that height preferences did affect who ended up together, but the effects were modest at best. Couples where the man was shorter happened less frequently than chance would predict. Yet those couples still existed. The preference was real. It was not absolute, with something people forget about dating. What somebody describes as a deal is not always what that person chooses after meeting someone. A woman might say she prefers a man who is 6 feet tall. Then she meets a man who is like, what, 5 foot 8? She likes talking to him. She trusts him. They have things in common. The number may stop being as important. Men do the same exact thing. A man can describe his perfect type and later fall for somebody who does not match half the list. People are inconsistent. Dating is not a spreadsheet after two people spend real time together. We're keeping it a buck 50 on this here. Research also suggests that shorter men and taller women tend to prefer smaller differences in height. Their preference moves closer to the people who are realistically around their own height. Also found that preferences about partner height vary and are connected partly to traditional gender role beliefs. The idea that a man must be taller is influenced by social expectations as well as attraction, which proves that height is irrelevant. It proves the 6 foot rule is not the same law controlling every relationship. Real couples are more complicated than social media arguments. My own life backs that up tenfold. I am 5'7". I have dated women taller than me. I did not approach them by apologizing for my body. I did not tell them they probably wanted somebody taller. I treated them like women I was interested in and allowed them to make their own decision. A lot of short men never get that far. They reject themselves first. Lord Farquaad, right? Time for the fun part. This is the part some guys will not want to hear. Your height may be a disadvantage. Your insecurity can turn it into your entire personality. You put something passive aggressive in your profile like 5'7", since apparently that matters. You make a joke about being short before the woman has even mentioned it. You assume she will leave you for a taller man. You enter into every interaction angry about a rejection that has not even happened yet. Then, when the woman loses interest, you say it was your height. Maybe it was your attitude. A 2019 study involving men dissatisfied with their height found that shorter men reported greater height dissatisfaction. That connection was stronger among men who held more rigid ideas about masculinity. When a man connects masculinity with being physically bigger, his height can get much deeper into his head. I understand it. I get it. Trust. Men are told that being bigger means being stronger, more respected, and more masculine, all right, like clavicular. Social media repeats that constantly. You still have to decide whether you are going to spend your entire life fighting a measurement you cannot change. I wasted time comparing myself to taller men. Comparison never added an inch, it only made me less comfortable being myself. And there was another mistake I made around women that had nothing to do with my actual height. I spent too much money trying to impress them. Expensive dates, gifts, paying for things because I did not want to look cheap, okay? I was Andrew Tate. I was throwing money up in the air. Like, la, la, la. Okay, that guy, I think he's in prison now or something. I don't know. He's getting extradited in the U.S. Ah, man, it's crazy people still listen to him. Crazy. I spent a lot of money on women I found attractive, including alt, emo, goth women. We gotta love them because I thought effort and spending would make me more valuable. It did not. Maybe part of it was compensation. I wanted to prove I had something else to offer, but the answer was never spending more money. A woman who actually likes you does not require a financial performance every single time you guys link up for Netflix and chill or Hulu Relax. I love Hulu Relax. Hulu's underrated, but you can just pirate everything nowadays. Rip Sony, if you guys understand. When I finally started budgeting and stopped treating every dollar like it needed to impress somebody, I saved $10,000 in a couple of months. That gave me more confidence in trying to buy approval. Short guys finish last when they believe they have to overpay or tolerate disrespect because they should be grateful that anybody chose them. Do not do that. I have dated women. My height did not stop me. That does not mean every relationship was good. One of the worst relationship decisions I made had nothing to do with being 5'7". I stayed in an unstable relationship. I moved to South Boston when I did not have much money. I lost a lot financially. Okay, I will not stop talking about this until I can milk all my money back. Okay, that's my mindset on that. After a major argument, I left and tried to continue a relationship long distance. Then she broke up with me. My height did not create that situation. My judgment mattered more. That is why I get frustrated when men make height the explanation of everything or for everything. My bad. You can become so focused on getting chosen that you never ask whether you are choosing well. A short man who gets into a destructive relationship has not won. A tall man who receives attention but ruins every relationship has not won either. The goal cannot be proving that you can get women. You need to build a life that does not fall apart because of the women you choose. Look at how she handles conflict. Pay attention to whether she respects you while she is upset. Notice whether you are financially compatible. Do not ignore instability because you are relieved that an attractive woman likes you. When your self esteem is so low, attention can feel much more valuable than it really is. That is where men get used. You accept bad behavior because you think another woman may not want you. You spend more than you can afford. You stay longer than you should. You let a relationship affect your work or your health. Then you blame being short because dating has become painful. Sometimes the real problem is that you made being chosen more important than choosing carefully. That's a bar, by the way. Short men receive some of the worst dating advice online. People tell you that because you cannot change your height, you need to become rich, extremely muscular, perfectly dressed, and more confident than every tall man in the room. Basically, you are told to become an unbelievable human being just to qualify for a normal date. Story of my life, right? That mindset will exhaust you. Improving yourself is good, there's no lying about that. Believing you must become perfect to compensate for being 5'7" or shorter is another form of insecurity. Get in reasonable shape because your health matters. Wear clothes that fit because looking put together helps you feel better. Build financial stability because it gives you control over your life. You need to learn how to speak to people because social skills affect everything you do. None of that erases being short. It gives you more things to offer because you built a better life. Tall men should be doing the same things. Height does not excuse a man for having a personality, goals, or basic hygiene. Stop assuming every taller man is your superior. You are comparing your worst insecurity with his most visible advantage. You do not know the rest of his life. Understand that. Like Naruto, believe it. At the end of the day, you cannot control your height. Stop creating a dating strategy around wishing it were different. Be honest on dating apps. Do not list yourself as 5'10" and hope she will not notice. When the date happens, the lie becomes the issue. You have announced that you are ashamed of yourself before the two of you even order food or get coffee. Use good photographs. Show your face clearly. Include a full body picture so there is no awkward reveal. Write something that gives a woman an actual opening to start a conversation. Then stop living entirely through apps. Talk to people through hobbies, events, mutual friends, work connections, or other places where you become more than a number on a profile. Accept rejection without becoming bitter. Some women will not date you. That is useful information. Do not argue. Do not demand that she justify her preference. Do not try to prove that she is a bad person. Move on. You do not need every woman to reconsider her feelings about height. You need one compatible woman who does not see your height as a problem. When you meet a taller woman you like, do not make it weird. Okay? Like I said before, I've dated taller women because I generally just did not care. If we're close enough to look at each other in the eyes, what exactly is the emergency? Problems begin when the man acts embarrassed. He refuses to let her wear heels. He keeps asking whether she wishes he were taller. She may have accepted the height before he did. Give her that chance, man. Short guys do not automatically finish last. Some get filtered out earlier. That is true. The men who stay at the back are often the ones who let height convince them to stop developing everything else. They spend years inside angry online communities repeating the same complaints. They treat women like one shared hive mind, like the thing from Halo, the flood from Halo. There you go. I don't know why I was tripping on that name. Look, they refuse to approach anybody. They lie on profiles. They assume confidence is impossible unless their body changes. Nothing changes. So their belief feels proven. Height becomes the excuse protecting them from harder questions. Are you taking care of yourself? Can you talk to a woman without needing immediate validation? Do you have standards or will you accept anybody you find attractive? Are you financially stable? Are you around people who support you or people who keep the insecurity alive because they are insecure too? Those questions are harder than blaming genetics. They are more useful. At 5'7", I am never going to be the tallest man in the room. I have lived enough life to know that I do not need to be. I have been rejected. I have been mocked. Dating apps have made me feel invisible. I have also dated successfully. I have dated women taller than me. I have been in relationships, made mistakes, and realized that height was rarely the biggest problem once the relationship actually began. Character mattered. Many decisions mattered. Boundaries mattered. Choosing the right person mattered. Height can affect who gives you the first chance. What you do with that chance is still on you. So here's the honest answer. Yes, being short can make dating harder. There are women who prefer taller men. Dating apps can make height feel even more important because people filter one another with almost no context. At 5'7", I have felt that disadvantage personally. Harder does not mean over. Research on actual couples show that preference about height affect real pairings only modestly. People do not always follow the exact list they claim to have. I stopped treating taller women like they were unavailable. I stopped assuming every rejection was a final verdict on me. I realized that as long as we are eye to eye and comfortable with each other, who cares? The bigger danger was never being 5'7". The bigger danger was obsessing over it, comparing myself to taller men, spending money to prove myself, and accepting relationships I should have judged more carefully. Stop trying to convince every woman to like short men. Find the women who already see you as a complete person. Work on parts of your life that can change. Accept the part that cannot. Tell the truth about your height and don't apologize for it. You will not be every woman's preference. Nobody is. Stop obsessing over height and give the rest of you a chance to matter.